Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me a special guest here, Ace the Goblin, rap artist Ace the Goblin. How's it going, Ace?
It's going great, going great. I'm honored to be here at Dark Sorcery, my brother.
Right, it's good to have you on. It's good to have you on the channel. Uh, so let's go ahead and start out with where are you from?
Well, I am from Lake Charles, Louisiana, 4 hours away from New Orleans,
Right on.
and maybe an hour or two away from DeRidder in Baton Rouge, down the bottom of the boot.
And right on, man. And where did your magical path begin?
Well, my magical path began when I was 15 years old, and I had an astral projection experience, because I grew up in a Christian household. And, but all my life as a kid, I wasn't a super full on Christian. I didn't fully believe it. I was like, man, you know, and I was like, what if this isn't real? What if when we die, there's nothing after this? What if there ain't no hell or heaven? That's what I thought as a kid. So I had an astral projection experience when I got older. And then I asked someone, what was it? And they told me. And so I went back home and I started studying astral projection. And that alone opened up my mind and world to many, many broad occult topics. And it just, from that point on, I dedicated, my life to, the occult path, practicing the arts of witchcraft and magic and spirituality.
Nice.
And I was 15 at the time, and I was living in Louisiana, and I was living at a house, and I had drew pentagrams on the house also at the same time period. And because, growing up, I was very much into, darker things as much as I am now, and that opened me up a little bit until the astral projection experience. And then I was really open to spirituality for real.
Right on. How would you describe your magical style?
My magical style?
Yeah.
Um, I guess one could describe my magical style as I'm eclectic. So my style would be I practice many different types of magic. I'm not limited to one, type of magic and or culture or belief or practice. I take from many different cultures and beliefs and occult practices all around, including, Hinduism, Buddhism, Satanism, Luciferianism, and occultism all together, dealing with Hermeticism, mysticism, all of the good things and all of that. I practice a wide range, man, wide range,
Right
all
on.
the occult.
So, which element would you say you correspond with the best and work with the best?
Work with the best. I would have to say that would be, you know, um, it's a hard choice, but for me between out of fire and air, because I would say fire, but not because I'm a fire sign, but when it comes to fire, I have that connection, that deeper connection. But when it comes to air, I have the same kind of connection, and I don't know which one I'm much connected to. So it would be fire and air, really.
I'm kind of with you on both of that. I can work with, any element, but I mostly correspond with fire and air myself.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, I don't know why. Like water is just it's not there for me. And earth, sometimes, yeah, but most of the time it's fire and air. That's what it is for me.
Okay. Um, what divination method do you prefer and why?
Well, it depends on um what I'm divining. You know, you see, because I use tarot, but not as much. I know I'm not a huge tarot reader, but I use pendulums and tarot. But I guess I would say the best would be for me that I've used and have much practice with and experience would be the Ouija board. and experiencing divining with the Ouija board, communing with the dead, and also just disembodied spirits altogether brings, a certain type of, otherworldly knowledge in itself. Just speaking with these beings and, gaining certain knowledge. And there's been many times, I've had experiences on the Ouija board and, you can feel the spirits, you can see them sometimes or hear them. And yeah.
Would you say that when you're using the Ouija board that you speak more with the dead or with deities?
Both, because I've used it to commune with recently dead relatives, also with deities and spirits of pantheons that I've worked with as well.
That's good.
And also my own spirit guides as well have come in contact with me through the Ouija board and things like that, and through dream experiences and stuff. And another thing, I'm a dreamer. I have prophetic dreams and I dream all the time and I dream too much. And, I dream, and I've also practiced lucid dreaming. When I learned about astral projection, I learned about lucid dreaming as well. And that's becoming aware in the dream state. And I've practiced it so much over the years that I don't even have to intentionally do it anymore. Like some dreams, I'll just become aware now. And I'm dreaming and then I'll do some stuff. Like the main thing I do when I'm in a lucid dream, I try a superpower. I'll start to fly or run really fast or something like that, and it works every time. But that corresponds. I have prophetic dreams. Like I have dreams all the time before something happens. I would dream about it, bruh.
The fact that you mentioned you like to work with the Ouija board a lot, what would you say is the biggest misconception among people about the Ouija board?
Oh man, this is a good one because the biggest misconception about the Ouija board, man, is thinking that, because I get this a lot. People just be like, "Oh no, I can't mess with it. I can't do it. I'm too afraid." And the biggest misconception is, thinking that, what they place in the movies and media is how the experience will go. You see, because they only have watched the horror movies about Ouija boards. And so people tend to stay away from it because they think, oh, the board itself is evil. Now, let me tell you, the board itself is not. It is a form of divination. It is a tool, a magical tool for us to use to commune with spirits on the other side. Now, and there are certain rules, that you have to learn before practicing. That's with any practice. You don't just dive in and thinking that you have to gain the knowledge first and have it in your mind forehead. And that's what I did. I researched and read as much as I could about the Ouija board before I even bought it and before I even played it. And I've never had a bad experience. That's one thing that's very profound to say. I've never had an experience with a malicious entity from using the Ouija board. Not one time. Not one time was I possessed or poltergeist activity happened where shit start throwing around the room. Never. Not one time. All of my experiences have been smooth, for me, at least.
That's good that you mentioned that, because a lot of people, when they talk about the Ouija board, they don't say that. They usually go off of what they've seen in shows and movies or what other people have told them. And there's actually a lot of occultists, a lot of practitioners that won't touch the Ouija board for that reason, but will go into other methods, but not knowing that they can go very, very far choosing that method. So I'm glad you got that.
Right. Yes. Yep. And that's the thing when it comes to divination. In my first book of shadows, I wrote down many different types of divinations, which include mancies. There's different types of mancies, not just necromancy, because necromancy is a form of divination as well. But when the word mancy, there's a lot of different ones that I learned. And like you can divine things using smoke, incense smoke going in the air, candle smoke. You can use it with cooking things, and how whichever way this item food comes out, it'll tell you something, it'll give you an answer or whatever. That's just, there's many different methods, and I use many, a quite wide range, and yeah, when it comes to that.
So now, tying in with that, what would you say is the biggest misconception about the occult?
Oh man, the biggest misconception about the occult, I would say it would have to be thinking that, you see, they have the masses thinking that the occult is all just, you know, filled with fear. You see, that's the main misconception. They use fear against the people. They you know, like I said before, it's the same thing, you know, with the media. They place, they even say the word occult in some movies, man, and they'll be like occult. And it's funny to me because they'll say it so, and I laugh and I'm like, ah, man, you know, a real occultist wasn't there because they would have been said, hey, bruh, it's not occult, it's occult, not occult. Even though that's still the thing in itself, you know, and one should, you know, really worry. You know, I don't care, but yeah, but in the media, you know, they tell people, oh, to, you know, practice witchcraft in the occult, oh, you have to go and sell your soul to the devil, or you have to go through such harsh things to gain these abilities that are within us to practice the occult. And it's, you know, it's just a bunch of horror fear stories are surrounding, you know, the occult. And I've been practicing it for years, man. And what I can tell the people is that, man, I've not had one entity that I was afraid of, that I felt was haunting me and haunting my home. Because when you become a witch, you gain the powers to defend yourself against these things. See, these people, they have these people thinking they're helpless against a spirit. Nah, you're a spirit too. You just have a physical body. Now, if a spirit messes with you, you have the power to defend yourself, or banish that spirit, or whatever, if you deal with this such spirit. But me personally, I have not. I have had to banish spirits, but was it a problem for me? Was I afraid? Was it fearful? Never for me, man. I've never had these horror stories that people talk about. It's just because I'm not easily scared, and I'm a horror person. Like, I love horror. You know, a lot of this stuff doesn't easily scare me, and I can see how it can scare certain people, but they're just not, you know, built for it. You know, they're not meant for this pathway, this path walking, you know, for their light heart and light mind.
Yeah, and I'm sure as a rap artist that you get a lot of heat from people, or you know, various people, from just the fact that you're into the occult. Like,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes, like, tell me about some of that heat you get from people that just because you're associated with the occult in music. And
Man, I get a lot of heat from people, and you know, I get some, you know, young artists, you know, coming to me, you know, wanting to learn, you know, and they be like, some of them will want to learn, and they'll be like, man, teach me about this devil shit, you know, because they hear it in the rap, you know. And then there's some people that are just completely opposed to it, and will think that, you know, that the Illuminati is a or Satanists, and they will, like, I've had this one, I'll tell you, you know, with this one artist from a group. I won't say the group's name or the artist name. We'll just keep that anonymous. But he was my favorite artist of the group, no lie. And you know, I met him on Facebook, him and the group, and we spoke, and I spoke with the other two members. I'm real cool with them. And but the one, you know, he was posting and he was saying how the elites are, you know, satanic and things like this. And I had to comment and, you know, tell him, no, the elites aren't necessarily Satanists. They aren't Satanists at all. Actually, they're not satanic. And, you know, trying to say that child sacrificing and these things are of satanic. But I was saying, explaining to him, well, I'm a Satanist, bro. Take it from me. This is not Satanism. This is not what Satanists practice. Do not sacrificing children or any of that crazy stuff that the elites may do. You know, who knows? But so, and he really stopped messing with me after that, you know, like, you know, it put a wedge, you know, after just me telling him and explaining to him. And because he's on the right hand path of the occult, you know, he's an occult rapper too, but he's on the right hand path. And you already know with those, you know, they tend to just automatically believe everything on the left hand path is, you know, negative or low vibrational or things like that. But I have to say one more thing, that one more misconception people think. I have to say, man, my vibration is always high, not because of anything, but because I am naturally a high spirited being. I'm always in a high mood, happy state, positive state, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter what there is around me. my spirit and my vibration is always high and never low. Until we're in a depressive state. We all get there sometimes.
Well, going back to what you said about you've never had no bad experiences, with the Ouija board or, having to banish spirits and stuff. A lot of people don't realize that, yeah, they may be working with gods, but they themselves are a god and have so much potential. They don't necessarily have to go to all these deities and ask for help. They can build themselves up to be powerful and, and be equal, really. Because
I agree.
all gods, and people don't realize that.
I agree, and I tell people that, I tell people that, I don't worship any gods. I work with these beings, and I look at these beings as my brothers and sisters and equals because they truly are. And when one treats them that way, you'll never have to worry about anything. And I definitely agree with that. I tell people that as well, to, go within. The power is always within you. And within us, we are all one. We are all connected to everything in the universe. We are that one supreme consciousness that created it all. We are it. We are just split up in many different fractals, many different scales on the one dragon.
Very right. Now, what does the left-hand path mean to you?
Okay, the left-hand path means to me personally. Now, you see, you have the right-hand path, which is, to me, a path of, white light, magic and religions and cultures, giving you spiritual pipe dreams, and making you walk through the tulips and the flowers and thinking that everything is all peaches and cream and stuff like that, and ignoring the dark side and thinking that light is versus darkness and not knowing that one are in the same. Things like that. I'm thinking good versus evil and just wanting to be on the good side and wanting to do that. That's the right-hand path. Now, the left-hand path to me is the opposite, but not the exact opposite. It is the opposite. It is the path of opposite doing, the path of finding enlightenment, just like the right-hand path, but through the darkness, through, the darkness attaining the light and one and the same, knowing that the darkness and light govern many aspects within us all, and within nature. And, we are dual beings, and the left-hand path also represents the path of, black magic, the art of transformation, transforming the self into becoming greater, which is also ties in with enlightenment and ascension, ascension of the mind and soul, but through the darker arts. That's basically what the left-hand path means to me.
I think a lot of people don't realize how important it is to look within and not without for power.
Yes.
Don't get that, especially a lot of people who are maybe white light practitioners. I mean, they have good intentions, but they don't realize how important that is.
Right. And they do. They are, going the right path, but the teachings of some of those paths will have them thinking that us on the left-hand path are just, vile creatures that shouldn't be around. When we are working towards the same goal, you see, like, just because I'm on the left-hand path doesn't mean that I still don't practice, Hinduism and Buddhism meditation and things like that. You see, like I said, I'm a broad practitioner. I practice many different types of things and practices magic. What you said there?
I said, as we all should be.
Right. Definitely. Shouldn't be stuck in just one, because they all have something great to offer. Even all of the religions have truth. But the thing is, for me and my beliefs, is that all religion, especially Abrahamic, is symbolic. They teach it as literal, but it has subtle symbolic, occult and astrological knowledge in it. But people never see it, those, deeply rooted Christians, because they don't step outside of that box to see it. They are just trapped in the box, so they think it's all literal stories and all that.
And go ahead.
Right, I'm sorry. And me personally, I like lore and mythology, but that's all it is to me. It's only lore and mythology and stories and allegories. That's all. Because there's much lore out there, man. Every culture and every nation of the world has certain type of lore. And if one thinks that they are just the right one above all, That's wrong. That's not true, because I told people, what about a Buddhist child who is brought up in a Buddhist home, who's never taught the Christian faith? You think that child who grows up to learn his life as a Buddhist will go to hell, to the Christian hell, because he didn't know the Christian God to worship it? Nah. And people have to think about that. You have to think, because not everybody is even taught the Christian faith, man, or any of that.
Exactly. And I think a lot of problems with Christianity or Abrahamic religions is that people are taught things at face value, and they're not taught to have multidimensional sight. They're just
True.
taught to look at things one way.
True.
And that caused a lot of ignorance and a lot of trouble in this world, I think.
It does. And that comes from the very word monotheistic. Monotheistic is the blame for that, because with their one true God, that's the only way that they will go to, attain such, spiritual, nirvana, because we all seek it, and we all, we have a spiritual side, but, and also with the left-hand path, it's also about the carnal side as well. Satanism speaks a lot on that, all of the left-hand path. But like I said, the right-hand paths will have you, disregarding your complete physical and only have you focusing on your spiritual sense, which is not true. You see, we're in this world for a reason, and this carnal world is a part of the spiritual world as well. And we should choose to grow in both, not one for the other, but both. And that's the thing that differs the left-hand path from the right-hand path. And they'll tell you, like, the right-hand path, oh, you should kill your ego and all these things that disassociate you from your physical that we are in. But we should grow our ego and strengthen our physical and, tame.
Very good answer. Now, you're a music artist, so let's talk music here.
Yes.
Where did your interest in music start?
Okay, I'd have to say, I have to look back on that, because, ever since I was a kid, man, I've always loved music, and I always listened to it. And I would have to say my, musical interest started to grow when I was about 12, man, in about 2012, because, I'm 21, and whatever year it is how old I am. So I'll be 22 this year in July, next month, 2022. So in 2012, I was 12 years old. And so, that's kind of useless right now, but useless information. But at that time, I was jamming a lot of different mainstream artists like Lil Wayne and Eminem. Those are the main two that I grew up on, and hearing other ones, but I listened to them too a lot. And then as I got older, I started to grow a different interest in music, like, because I don't like a lot of mainstream rap. And so I just somehow, gained the interest for underground rap for some reason. I came across Twisted Insane and that kind of rap style, horror rap style, and dark underground, Lord Infamous, all that, and many different other artists. I grew an interest for that, and that stuck with me. And not a lot of the mainstream rap. I still do listen to Lil Wayne and Eminem here and there, and like Wiz Khalifa, some mainstream artists, just a couple, but I don't like a lot of the new mainstream artists, like some mainstream rappers, that are on the radio with the singing auto-tune bullshit. I can't stand it, man. I only like lyrical rap, underground rap. I like new rap too, but just not the singing auto-tune stuff. So
On that, and the fact that, and you follow my underground music page on Instagram.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw a plug in. Instagram at Chicano Rap 1984. Again, that's at Chicano Rap 1984. We like underground Latin rap. A lot of good stuff on there. But anyway, the one thing I've noticed about hip hop or rap in general is that, back in the day, in the 90s, in that time, everybody sounded different. You know what I mean? Everybody, if you're from the West Coast, you got a certain sound. If you're the East Coast, Dirty South, everybody sounded different and it all sounded good. But I think as time went on, that the music industry said, let's make everybody sound similar. And I think that kind of killed a lot of creativity
Right.
and
And
kind
not
of
only that, they said, let's please the fans more. Let's only please the fans. Instead of the artists, let's just make music only. Now, that's good to an extent, but you still have to make music that pleases you. You can't just make music only for the fans that pleases them. And that's what they're doing. They only pushing certain music to the top that is of what everybody wants to listen to, what all the people are jamming at their parties and their clubs and all this stuff, and that's cool to an extent, but it shouldn't be their only purpose. That's their only purpose to me.
that
That's
you do
it.
that. I mean, to an extent, but if you do it too much, it kind of stunts any creativity in people.
Right,
And
exactly.
of if it had been allowed, if it had been the same since then, how much more we would have, as far as to choose from as far as music goes.
Right.
That's just a personal thought I had thought about. Now, I like your music, love your rap. We
Thank
even have one of your songs up on YouTube, so go ahead and for our viewers, go ahead and check in the music section. You'll see Ace the Goblin has one of his rap songs. We posted up. Very good stuff.
you. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite song you've recorded and why?
Oh man, I would have to say my favorite song I've recorded and why. Damn, bro, that's a really hard one because I've recorded a lot and I have so much lyrics, bro. Like, because I rap fast. And so there's a lot of lyrics that I can write on one page, man. And some tracks, bro, I'm gonna have to look because I'm gonna have to look on my YouTube because I have so many tracks. They're like all of them aren't in the forefront. But let me look real fast. I'll go to my YouTube real quick and I can see, maybe give you an answer to that.
I think
Okay.
maybe it's part. It's like they're all a piece of you.
True that, and I like them all. There's some that are like least liked, and those are the ones that I don't like as much. But there are a lot of them, most of them, I like them all. But I would have to say, man, my favorite and one I like the most and I like to record, it would have to be out of evil shit
Okay.
or um House of Doom or uh oh my God, I can't even give you an answer to that one, bro. It's too hard because I can't pick just one. But that's somewhere around the likes. If you listen to those two tracks, or because I have a versatile style as well. Like I have this track "Darkness in My Soul," which is a more of a heartfelt track. It's like a sad track, feeling type of track. And I like those tracks too. But my track like Evil Shit or House of Doom, those ones that hit really hard, the hard shit, I like those the most. So that can kind of give you an idea.
They're all good songs, and for our viewers, I encourage you to go to his YouTube and look at his songs. We'll have a link below in the video.
Yes.
All his
Yes.
links after done.
And you can find me
And
on all streaming platforms under one name, Ace the Goblin.
right,
ACETHA Goblin. That's
good
all.
stuff. You guys won't be disappointed. And
Will not.
what would you say is your? Would you name your top 5 rappers of all time?
My top 5 rappers of all time. All right. I would have to start with one being Tupac. Tupac, I look up to Tupac a lot, man, and his style because it's very real. Not just because it's gangster, but the shit he say and the words and his wordplay and rhyme scheme and lyrical, prowess is just amazing to me. So that's one. Next would be Twisted Insane. Twisted Insane is one of my go-tos and inspired me a lot, especially when it comes to fast rap. If it wasn't for Twisted Insane, man, I probably wouldn't have pushed fast rap as much as I did. So I have to give credit and props to that. One of my top artists. I'd have to say Eminem is up there. Eminem, he's very great. Lord Infamous, one of my favorites. And then I would have to give it to the fifth one, would have to go to um Gangsta Nip because Gangsta Nip. I fuck with Gangsta Nip because my uncle showed me him. and he was like, "Hey, I feel like you would like this dude." And he showed me a track by Gangsta Nip. And my uncle, you know, he was around my mother's age, which was 40 something. And you know, Gangsta Nip first came out around that time in the 90s and stuff. And he was one of the first horrorcore rappers and things like that. And so I've went back and jammed his whole catalog. And I fuck with his horrorcore style hella. And I am very inspired from his horrorcore style and many other horrorcore artists as well. And you know, that's just five, bro. Like I have so many artists that I listen to and that are in my top. I may have a top 50 or 30 somewhere. You know, I
It's
feel like,
hard to narrow down to five. I understand because there's a lot of rap artists that I could put up there, but I do like Tupac a lot. Let me just
yeah,
say my favorite from him is All Eyes on Me. What would you say is your favorite Tupac album?
it would have to go to oh man, what's that one album that he put that song because you know I'm young, man. I haven't jammed every album from Tupac, but I have recently and have been jamming him a lot. But I would have to say it's that one album. Oh, the I don't know if it's called the Machiavelli or Illuminati one, the one you know where he's on the cross. You know, I like that album. That one,
Yeah, Mac,
that's pretty dope.
what song are you talking about? Hail Mary or To Live and Die in L.A. or
It would have
Me and
to
My
be
Girlfriend?
Hail Mary, bruh. Hail Mary.
Yeah,
And I
that'll
don't
probably be
like the hook. I love the hook because like for some reason as a kid, I heard that song one time and I never listened to Tupac as a kid. I only listened, but I always said it. I was like, what's that? What's the line? Gonna ride or die. La da 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 da. I've always said that and never listened to the song until I got older and I started jamming it more. And yeah. And besides the Hail Mary stuff, I do like that song
Oh yeah,
and what he's saying.
the beat's good too.
Right.
And I do like Eminem a lot. And I'd
Yeah.
have to say my favorite before my favorite Eminem album was the Marshall Mathers LP Part One. But since he came out with Music to Be Murdered By, that's my new favorite one from Eminem. What would you say is your favorite Eminem album?
My favorite Eminem album. It would have to be what's that one? Uh the one where I can't remember because I haven't jammed the album in so long, but it's the one that Lose Yourself it's on. What's the name of that when he's walking backward? Like you can see his back towards you. He's walking away. What's the
It's
name of that?
the Eminem Show or Curtain Call. I could be wrong on either, but it's one of those two. Yeah, I like that song a lot too.
It's one of them. And yeah, it's that album. I really like that album a lot.
Right on, man.
And the thing is, bro, it's Recovery, the Recovery album of 2010.
Yeah.
Because, bro, like I said, that was
Yeah.
around the time when I was jamming Eminem hard in mainstream rap when I was 10 years old, bro, in 2010. And I just looked it up. That's the one, Recovery. Yeah. I like that one a lot. Hella.
Albums.
But I can look here and I like a lot of his other ones too. But what I was gonna say was that I've been jamming a lot of like underground albums. Like I didn't jam every Gangsta Nip album, you know, DJ Fire, you know, Lord Infamous, you know, 3-6 Mafia, Player Posse, many, and especially when it comes to Memphis rap. I've jammed a lot of underground horrorcore Memphis.
Yeah, and myself too. I like big mainstream rappers like Tupac, Eminem, Bone Thugs and Harmony. But my passion is underground rap. You know what I
Right.
mean? You see
Right.
behind, you see it in my collection on Instagram. Is you know what I mean? Like I love underground rap. I share that passion, man. I love it. Yeah. What would you say is your favorite rap group of all time?
My favorite rap group. Okay. That would have to be it would either be out of shit. I would have to give it to Master Builders on that one, man. Master Builders of they are called rappers, bruh. I like their but there's a couple other ones too when it comes to spiritual hip hop. Now they're spiritual hip hop. So I would have to give it to Master Builders on that. And it's a group of 3 dudes who rap mostly. They may have more members, but it's of Apocalypse, Atma, and Illuminati Congo. Those 3, man, they go hard, bruh. They go hard.
Right on, man.
And that's
Okay,
some occult underground right there. That's an unknown name, for a lot of people, You know.
I'll have to check that out. It's good you threw that out.
Yeah, check them out, everybody. Master builders, man. They go hard, man.
Right on. Okay, well, looks like we're coming to the end of the interview, but I understand you had just dropped a whole album.
Yes, I did, man. Yesterday, that album was released, brother.
Yes, and it is fire, and we'll go ahead and have the link to it in the bottom. Everybody go check that out. And what's it called?
Resurrection of the Goblin.
Everybody go check.
That's the title I came up with, and it's a story. It's a story-based album. It has a story to it, everyone. And I'm that kind of person. I just came up with a story for it, and my second one won't be as much as like this one, but it'll still be phenomenal. But this one I went story-based.
Y'all never disappoint. It's always good stuff. And
Right.
so,
Thank you.
what can we? You're welcome. And what can we expect from you in the future?
Well, man, what the people can expect, man. Well, when it comes to Goblin music, we have a lot of projects and a lot of workings in the work right now that we're working on. We have a couple albums coming. We have a Goblin music albums that will be featuring all Goblin music members because I have a couple, and that's Goblin music wise. Infamous Six, with DJ Fire, Lord of Fire, bro. It was about to come out like that, but DJ Fire, we got a couple projects coming too, and me and my girlfriend, we're also going to be setting up our YouTube channel, which will be called Infernal Union, which we will be doing something like Dark Sorcery, speaking about the occult and our experiences and helping people with rituals and spells and things like of such, and bringing the knowledge of the left-hand path to the world.
Nice. Yeah, let me know about that. We'll
Definitely.
plug it. So, but thank you for being on. It's been great talking with you.
It was an honor for you to have me, my brother.
You're very, very welcome. And to the viewers, like I said, we'll have all his links below this video. Thank you very much. And dark blessings, my friend.
Most definitely, my brother. May peace and darkness be with us all. Forever.